I am Jermaine. I am here with the great Matt. Just for our fans to let you know, we are now on iTunes. One of the best podcasts on iTunes. Take that, suckers. We are legit.
Yeah.
You
To all
tell
those haters,
you tell them,
yeah,
Matt.
suck it.
Oh, whoa. This is a clean podcast. How dare you?
Oh, I meant, like something clean
That is,
and nutritious.
oh, that's disgusting. It doesn't.
Why? Why is it gotta be disgusting?
I don't know. You disgust me.
Oh, jeez, here we go.
So how's your week been, man? You doing good? You feeling good? You don't look good.
What? I was feeling good until about a second ago.
Oh man. So I've been thinking, and I do that a lot because I'm awesome. Hello, is this thing on? I watched this really interesting documentary about initially, well, it said casting by, but I thought it was going to be about a bunch of different casting directors. They specifically talked about one, this lady, Marion Doherty, and a lot of the films that she was, that she did casting for, and some of the actors she got work for and got, big breaks for. It's really good. Really intrigued by it. I'm aware that you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it
I think it's something you would be into, and I think our listeners, if they're into movies, would be into.
yet. Where'd
Because
you get it? Where'd you find it?
I found it on HBO. It's one of their documentaries, but I'm assuming since it's from 2012, it should be on Netflix. So if
I will look for it.
please do, because it's really cool. I mean, she has worked with like guys like Martin Scorsese, Woody Allen. There, she, not necessarily discovered, but got a lot of well-known actors like Al Pacino, De Niro, Clint Eastwood, John Voight, some big-time jobs. So it's pretty cool. And they have a lot of those people on the documentary talking about her. It's interesting because it has some of the discussions that she has and with directors and whatnot, and how they're looking to cast for certain people, and they have other casting directors on it, and it's interesting because how directors are like, get me such and such, or get me a certain type of person, and they find someone they think is perfect, and directors like, this is what I wanted, and they'll go back and forth, and then the director's like, okay, and it turns out being great. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting because you just assume a lot of times the directors will pick who they want, and for the most part, they'll pick their stars, and then let the casting agent sometimes pick the rest of the cast for them. It seems like your dogs are doing something interesting.
My one dog found a toy, a squeaky toy, but I forgot to tell her that we were on air. She doesn't seem to care.
That's fine. But I thought it was interesting that you went to film school and did some casting, so you can give us a little insight on.
Well, the level of, it was film school, so it wasn't like any big production, but I think it was the same level of desperation, I guess.
Right.
Because this was, we would put out casting calls or whatever. I guess we even put it in the paper, student film, come out, and people that, it wasn't just like, me, maybe I'll go see if I can be in a student film. The people that would come out would be people with headshots who were totally taking this seriously and wanting to be actors as a career.
Right.
And they would show up to, and these films were not very good.
Right. Well, but it's film school, so.
Yeah. We're learning. So the scripts weren't always as good as maybe the technical side of it.
Right.
Because you're learning, like, kind of how to make a movie. And, I think there's different reasons for the scripts that got chosen. But,
so I can't just let you gloss over that. Give us a little insight. Don't hold back, Matt.
There was 2 movies we did, and one was called Monster Monk, which was
my stomach.
which is about a monk there's some chemical reaction and he becomes huge, kind of like a Godzilla or so. I don't know.
No, that never happens in movies.
Yeah, but he's a monk.
Oh, that's different.
And I mean, it actually was kind of fun to do because we did all this stuff with like forced perspective, and we ended up learning how to do some really cool effects with that.
Okay.
So as silly as it sounds, I don't really begrudge that script. The actors probably had to say some ridiculous things. But the one we did before that, which was just our 16 millimeter shoot, just kind of getting our feet wet and everything, was this, and I don't want to begrudge the girl that wrote it, but it just wasn't that good, and she probably would admit that. It was called Love and Chemicals, and it was, I mean, all I remember about the story is it was a girl, she finds out her boyfriend cheats on her, and so to get back at him, she destroys all his clothes. I think I have this right. I don't think it's the other way around. But, yeah, I have it right. But she destroys all his clothes with putting bleach in them in the laundry. Like, over-bleaching his clothes. And that's, like, the entire plot of the story that I remember. So...
The horror.
And I'm probably making it sound better than it was.
Oh my god, is that possible? Because that sounds awful.
But
that sounds dreadful. I gotta be honest with you.
So, but
it is what it is.
Yeah, it's people's first foray into, and there was a lot of different actors. I was one of the people that was in charge of casting. So we're in this room. And the director, the screenwriter, and maybe one or two other people and myself are in there talking to these actors as they come in and actresses. And they give us headshots. I mean, we see like, I've been this and this. Totally couldn't be taking it any more seriously. And so they would say a line, which would be a ridiculous line because the script was horrible. And they would say it with just so much passion. Like, everybody totally was overacting. And, like, they never got that memo of less is more,
Right.
And a lot of the same, like, inflections with bad actors. It's like, they kind of they, like, do I can't, how do they do it? It's like, when they're trying to show emotion, they'll do, like, like, almost like a sigh or, like, this
right.
kind of weird thing. And this one guy, one of our professors was like, look for that, because that's a sign they don't know what they're doing. And then, like, 3 out of 4 people that would come in would do that for an emotional thing. And I can remember this one girl specifically who, and again, this is me sounding like a Hollywood executive asshole, but that's the role I was playing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you play it well, too.
What's that?
You play the role of an asshole well. I just want you to know.
But the role called for, like, a fairly attractive girl. The girl that comes in is not the most attractive, which, it doesn't mean she couldn't get roles, obviously. But that was one kind of thing right off the bat where, okay, well, you're going to have to blow us out of the park. It just went so badly. She read her lines so horribly. And then it was like, please call me. Like, this is my dream. And she's telling us all this.
Oh, no.
It's like, this is my dream, and I just want this so badly, like, please call me. And I thought, like, we were only mildly polite.
Right,
like,
right.
oh, thank you very much. That was nice. We'll let you know, or something like that. And she took that little bit of a just slight positivity as, oh my God, they love me. I got this. You could tell she was like, please call me, like, but I know I just nailed it because they were nice to me. And I thought we weren't real nice to her at all. And it's interesting that maybe that's what it takes.
But like, I think that's the thing, like, when you hear actors and aspiring actors talk about it, they're like, I nailed that audition. Right. And not that many people nailed an audition every time they go in. So I just think it's that mindset of, I did that. You know what I'm saying? I think you kind of have to have it to be in the industry.
That's what I'm saying. I really want.
Oh, okay.
I think you would have to just to get far at all. If you don't have maybe an inflated sense of yourself.
Yeah, a little bit of narcissism.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't think you're going to be able to do that. It's not, because no matter who you are, you're not going to go into most auditions and get most roles. You're
No.
going to get told no over and over. And to not let that eat at you and to just be like, well, they're wrong and keep going back. I mean,
No, well, I think Jay Moore on his podcast talks about that a lot, going into auditions, and I think he made a good point where he said like a lot of times you're going in not to get the part that you're going in for, but to make them notice you for other things,
right.
like so that they have something on you. You know, you're hoping to get what you go in for, but you're hoping even if you're not right for that, they're gonna want you for something else. So
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at it as I might not get this, but maybe they'll look at me for something else down the road.
Yeah, and I've heard of that happening, and I've also heard of people constantly go, well, I was going for this part, but they gave me this one.
Right.
And it's just the way a casting director might see a person differently than they see themselves.
Right.
And it might end up being that the casting director was 100% right. I think it was John Krasinski that when he was auditioning for The Office, I want to say at one point he auditioned for Dwight, which it's hard to even picture him doing that.
Right.
But, then they were like, oh, how about you audition for Jim? And then, now he's got a huge career based off getting that role.
Well, I mean, remember that's what Courtney Cox did. She went in and auditioned for the part of Rachel, and they were like, "You're wrong for that, but we want you to play." I can't remember when she was Monica. They're like, "You're Monica," but she went in for that Rachel part.
Yeah, but it's real interesting. I've always been fascinated by casting directors because so often you'll think, "Wow, this show is just so well cast." Like I can't imagine anybody else playing this role. And I guess that's the brilliance of, kind of what they do. And it's got to be harsh at times, but...
Well, it's that, and when you find out, like, who they originally wanted and turned it down is interesting. Because you think that show or that movie would go a totally different way. Because they originally, for that Monica character, they gave... they pretty much, like, gift wrapped it for Janine Garofalo.
Really?
Yeah. It was hers, and she was like, eh. Same with Matthew Perry. I think there was another actor that they wanted for Chandler, and he got it, and then kind of at the last minute was like, no thanks.
Yeah.
And he was like a last minute thing.
Well, and just as much of it, could be just dumb luck. Like it's
right.
Chemistry. I like Ruffalo. I can't picture her.
No, I couldn't. And
it would have been a totally different role.
It would have been completely different.
That's interesting.
Yeah, see, I saw that and I was like, man. But that's it. Also, like when you start to think about it, I was like, man, Garofalo was at that point at that time where she was a hot commodity, and Courtney Cox was still kind of an unknown.
Yeah, she was the most known of those people, but that wasn't saying much at the time.
No.
So what else you got going?
I figured like you and I took a screenwriting class together. I didn't know if you remembered any nuggets from that.
Nuggets.
Because remember we had to pitch our screenplays.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if you remember some of the classics from that. I remember the one guy who we all like decided we'd have to make his movie because it was I can't remember the exact movie idea. Excuse me, but it was like I remember it was like a Civil War kind of. It took place in that era, and we were all like, "Whoa, that sounds good." And then some of the other ones we were like, "Yuck."
See, I wish I had your memory because I don't remember. I only remember the ones that are like, "Yuck."
No, I remember the dudes like when he like because it had to do. It was like a love story and friendships, and you're just like, "Whoa, that's deep." I wish I could remember the whole thing, but I remember how good, like his presentation was so good. I was like, damn, I want to watch that movie. Whereas even with mine and everyone else's, I was like, that's stupid. It's been done before.
I don't even 100% remember what mine was.
I just remember one line from yours.
What was that?
Where it was two guys were talking. And they're talking about this girl, and the one guy was like, she has great titanium. He was trying to I guess the girl walked in when he was talking about her tit.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember that part of it.
In a good way?
I just remember, I don't know why it made me laugh, when I read it.
I guess that's good.
So
Yeah.
that's the only part I remember was that he was talking about this girl's tits and she walked in, I guess, and he tried to play it off.
Well, that professor was real encouraging. Like, he's one of those. People talked about what professors or teachers do you remember. He's one of the handful.
Nah, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, I had him for 2 classes, and I enjoyed both classes.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see his name on a movie one day.
Yeah.
I look him up about once a year. I see what he's done. He's got a couple books out there. Let's see. Oh, I remember the guy. See, this is a story I remember screenplay, so I don't even know if I should say.
Come on, just tell me.
It's just how people might be a certain way and not realize they're a certain way.
I know where you're going. You got to share that. That's a good one.
Well, I think this might have been one of your ex-roommates. But
it has nothing to do with me.
No, I'm not saying that, and we won't say any names. But
and forced roommates in college. Let's get that straight.
Yeah, and we all had one or two that we could have done without.
It wasn't by choice.
Yeah, but there was a kid in this class who always talked about gay people, and it was just kind of like, you kind of be half listening, be like, oh, well, okay, whatever. And it's like he wrote this screenplay, and when we'd have to read it in class. And see, again, I don't want to sound a certain way, but it was horrible. I mean, it was just...
You're just being honest, man. You people are going to always take things the wrong way, but you're just being honest.
Yeah. I mean, it was, like, probably the worst thing I ever remember hearing that was put pen to paper or whatever to paper. But, and it was just, he tried to write, I'm writing this, it's about this guy that he doesn't think he's gay, but then this guy comes on to him, and then he thinks, well, maybe he is gay. and the whole time,
everyone is looking around. Like
every single person in the class realizes he's talking about himself, and he has no idea he's talking about himself.
It's hilarious because the looks on everyone's face is like, is there something you're trying to tell us?
He was quite effeminate. Again, not making any judgments.
He had a girlfriend.
Yeah, but it was just one of these things, like, one of I think, the best written scenes in a screenplay, one of my favorites is a scene in Sideways, where the main character is describing why he likes a certain kind of grape, or why he likes a certain kind of wine.
Right.
And the grape is the reason. And as he's describing that grape, he's describing himself and doesn't realize it, but she realizes it. Well, this is exactly what this kid in that class was doing in a much less articulate way.
It's just like, it was so great because the whole class, and it was probably a class of maybe 30 people.
Yeah, I was thinking 30.
And we all the one of the cool things was that a lot of the people in the class knew each other. So I mean, it was a very relaxed environment. But while he's telling the story, everyone's like, is it him? is he talking about himself?
And then the next week it would be like, the next scene when it would be like a sex scene or something that was really graphic.
Do you remember the professor even was like, when he finished, was like, it's just the way he kind of was like, okay, like he didn't
even know what to say. And a creative writing professor's probably 3/4 of their job is to be encouraging to people that suck. Because, when it's art, or, and I'll call writing art, but it's like, if it's something like that that's subjective, you kind of have to put your own feelings aside to an extent.
Right.
And still try to be encouraging, and, oh, no, that's good, I see improvement here or there, whatever. The guy he couldn't say anything to that because there was nowhere to go.
I thought that class went for a lot of laughs, especially when we had to work on a screenplay, and then we had to pitch it, and then we had to act out scenes from our screenplay.
Hey, we were up like all night rehearsing because we thought we were told we can't read it off the page.
So we were stressing out, like
we're stressing out. These two men stressing out. Oh wait, I forgot that line. So we acted out the next day, and nobody else bothers to do that.
But the worst part about it is we game planned it, we rehearsed. We probably lost a lot of sleep over it. We kept going over lines till we knew it by heart. We even said, we're going to go first because we just want to get it over with, so we can just sit back and enjoy the class. We get up, we do our lines, we're like, yeah. And then everyone literally, person by person after us, goes up with their scripts in hand.
Which we were told we couldn't do.
They weren't even looking at each other.
Yeah.
And we were just like, what the?
And he didn't know. He never said a word about it.
No, I was so irritated. We put in all this work on our 2 scripts.
What's that?
Because we had to do each other's, so we had to learn part of yours and part of mine, and go up and do it. And so we did both of those back to back because I can't remember how the whole thing worked out, but I just remember like, yeah, we did it. And it was like after we finished, it was like, whew. And then everyone else just walks up and just reads it, and they read it like they could care less. Like, great.
There was a few times I did stuff like that in college where I realized I was the only one in the class that cared. And I wonder how much it actually helped me with the professor. I don't know.
Yeah, it was interesting. An enjoyable class. Kind of made me look at movies a little differently. So I guess we can move on unless you got something else you'd like to add to that subject.
Nah. Would you want to talk about Emmys or something?
Yeah, let's talk about the Emmys.
All right.
And I want to talk about some of mostly on the comedy side. Just looking at the comedy shows that got nominated. And, for those of you who don't know, it's 30 Rock, The Showgirls, Louie, Modern Family, The Big Bang Theory, and Veep.
Do you have any predictions?
On that, it's gonna be tough. I think I'll stick with Louis because I think Louis usually wins.
Did it win before?
Yeah, I thought it won last year if I wasn't mistaken.
It might have. Okay, yeah.
And being that I've watched all of those shows, I think in my personal opinion, Louis is head and shoulders better than all of them. And that's not because I like Louis as a comic. I just think his show is just well done.
I have a hard time believing 30 Rock is still worthy of this nomination.
I think it's the feel-good, this is their last season, but I doubt very highly that they deserve to be in this category. And I like 30 Rock, I just don't think, I think it's more of a farewell.
I agree. And then you have, I don't want to cut you off if you had another point about that.
No, I think, I was just going to talk about the shows like, Big Bang Theory is always great. And I think it definitely deserves to be there. Veep, it's gotten better in season 2, but still, to me, not worthy of this category. Modern Family is a fan favorite and will pretty much always be there. Again, I don't necessarily know that Modern Family deserves the nomination.
It's become overrated, and I like it, but it's not what it was or what people still think it is. They just think, oh, Modern Family, we got to keep throwing awards at it.
Right, and the show Girls, I think season 2 was not as good as season 1, so I'm a little shocked that they got nominated for season 2. But I don't know. You got any thoughts on some of the shows?
I actually feel like they're kind of weak, but I haven't seen them all either, so that's kind of a half statement. But I mean, I've said before, I think Modern Family and 30 Rock are overrated, especially 30 Rock, and that's not based off it as an entire series, but Girls, I think you have Lena Dunham as kind of the it girl right now, and Judd Apatow is an executive producer, so it's got an outside shot just for that reason. No. I would think Louis would probably win. And did you see that comic that did the spoof of Louis C.K.?
No.
He's fairly unknown, but he did this impression of Louis C.K. You should look it up sometime. It's pretty spot on, where he's just doing stand-up, and they're talking about, oh, Louis' new comedy special, and then they talk about how the critics just adore Louis C.K. right now, to the point of and it puts up like the Hollywood Reporter says it's the best thing I've ever seen, and I haven't even seen it yet, stuff like that. And I think there was some truth to that because I almost expect Louis C.K. to what do you call it? Kind of have a backslide here, but then again I don't, because I feel like he just kind of created so much goodwill. He's just gonna ride this out as long as he wants. But I think I would say that's probably the show to beat.
I'm always impressed by it because I walk away going, "Dang, that's funny. That's embarrassing. That's funny."
Yeah.
And it's so, I don't know. He does things to me that traditional. He doesn't go for the easy laugh like I think a lot of traditional comedies do. Like, let me do something silly, and then the whole episode it revolves around this silly situation. I don't know. I'm always impressed by it. I wish I could see more of it, and that's my only drawback with it. Whereas some of these other shows, I wish I could see less of them. But again, I can never tell. I feel like 30 Rock is probably going to win it because it's the final season, and it just seems like everything's set up for 30 Rock to win everything. But I think if based on watching all of those shows, to me, Louis is the one I like the most.
I think that's easily the best one. To be honest, I think the second best one, I wouldn't win any cool points with the critics, but it might be Big Bang Theory.
Oh, I would pick Big Bang Theory as the second best of that group.
And I would probably pick, if I was doing this, my second or third favorite comedy is not even nominated, which would be New Girl.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I got some views on New Girl too. Like I like it a lot. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. Sorry.
You could say something.
No, because my thought is actually on the individual actors in that.
For that, yeah.
Yeah, I had to think about the point that I was going to make. And I think as a whole, I do definitely would put that show in above the other ones because I think it's better than. And I like 30 Rock and Modern Family, but I think New Girl's better.
Let's see who's nominated for comedies. What do you want to do? Lead actress?
Let's do it. You called it. Lead us in.
Tina Fey. She'll probably win.
No doubt. And let's be honest. Again, that's where I think anyone who listens to it is going to assume we hate 30 Rock, and we actually like it. It's just they're getting the big farewell swan song deal going on.
But you never know, because Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Emmy people love her. She's won it before
She won last year.
Yeah, and Lena Dunham could be the dark horse, but yeah, you still wonder if they're just gonna send Tina Fey out with it.
Well, I think it might be tough because Edie Falco's in there, and she wins a lot too. So that's where she and Julia Louis-Dreyfus may cancel each other out. But I also feel that way with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
So then maybe you got Lena Dunham coming up.
Yeah, she may come away. I think Laura Dern's got no shot.
Yeah.
And she'll probably win it.
I didn't know she was in a comedy till about 3 seconds ago.
Dude, I tried watching that show, and I was like, I couldn't even go 5 minutes into it. And it's canceled, so which is even funnier.
Yeah, at what point would they have to give her award? Because part of the reason for awards is to get people to watch stuff.
Right.
I mean, I know that wouldn't be true with 30 Rock, but there's always DVD sales.
Yeah, so it looks like Lena Dunham may come away with that one. And I can't say that. In watching most of those shows, I can't say that I've been blown away by anybody. I mean, I like a lot of people in that category, but I don't know. That's also not my forte.
What do you think about lead actor?
Again, this one cracks me up because Alec Baldwin in 30 Rock is a travesty because everyone knows if you're going to put someone in that one from 30 Rock, it'd have to be Tracy Morgan. But Tracy Morgan is not going to show up on this list anywhere because there's a backlash against Tracy Morgan. So for everyone on this show, and even some of their guest stars to get nominated and not Tracy Morgan, give me a break.
And why is that?
Well, Tracy had that issue.
He said a joke that was un-PC.
Which, it was a joke, but everyone flipped out. And it wasn't received very well in Hollywood. So this is Hollywood's way of getting back at Tracy Morgan.
But they have no problem with Alec Baldwin.
Who says stuff all the time.
Like, far worse, and he's not a comedian on stage. It's just very weird.
Yeah.
We talked about that enough, but it's
Yeah,
weird.
I know because it'll sound like, oh, here they go again on their Alec Baldwin rant. But Jason Bateman, who I haven't seen because it's on Netflix, right? Is it?
Yeah, I've seen about half of them. I haven't finished it yet.
But he's awesome in that character.
Yeah.
I just assume, and I haven't even seen it, just based off past performances. Matt LeBlanc for episodes, which is awesome, and he's awesome in that show.
Which is probably shocking to people, but he won the SAG award for that.
Dude, he kills it for me every time. Don Cheadle, who I like a lot, and I think is great in that show. See, I think this list is probably more solid.
Yeah.
And harder for me to determine. Louis, who again I feel is going to be tough to beat, and then you always got Jim Parsons from Big Bang Theory, who's always in the conversation.
And he's won like what 2 out of the last 3 years or something.
Yeah, so I mean I think it's probably going to come down between those two, and it could go either way.
Between Parsons and
Louis.
You don't think they'll just give it to Baldwin, or maybe
No. I could see Tina Fey getting it more so than I can Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if they gave it to Alec Baldwin, but I feel like it's gonna be Louis or Jim Parsons. And since I think Louis won last year, it'll probably be Jim Parsons this year.
Yeah. Let's see. Supporting actress. I was just going down the list. We can skip some if you want.
Oh, go for it.
Well, supporting actress in a comedy, Jane Krakowski. I mean, she's good. I feel like a lot of the 30 Rock characters are kind of one note.
Right.
Again, I think it's a good show. I think Alec Baldwin's pretty much playing the same role every year.
Himself.
Yeah. Tina Fey's playing Tina Fey yet again.
Tracy Morgan plays Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, but it's like he at least deserves some love.
Yeah, I mean, you can't leave him out. I don't understand that because you have no show.
Yeah. Jane Lynch I'm pretty sure she's won this before.
Yeah, I think at least once. Uh oh. Hold on. We lost audio on you. I can't hear you. We're going to pause for this commercial break. All right, and we are back.
That was our best ad yet. Thank you to our sponsor. So Sofia Vergara in Modern Family, let's be honest. There's 2 reasons people want to nominate her.
And I like them both.
Her smile and her accent.
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking. See, for me, it's like 3 reasons.
What's the other?
Her personality.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Julie Bowen, also in Modern Family, probably the better actress.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means they've canceled each other out a bit. They're completely different roles, so maybe not. Merritt Weaver for Nurse Jackie. I've never seen it, so I can't really comment.
I have. I actually think if I had to pick someone to win, I'd actually probably pick her.
Really?
Yeah, I think she's great. I think the character is great.
Mayim Bialik, Amy Farrah Fowler, Big Bang Theory, which is again another example of perfect casting.
Right.
Because for years, my wife said, I wish Sheldon would get a girlfriend. And it was kind of like, who can you picture being Sheldon's girlfriend? And as soon as you saw her, okay. Well, it was a perfect fit.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk about, too, is because when they talk about snubs and surprises, that is one of their surprises that she got nominated instead of Kaylee Cuoco. I can never say her name right.
Kokomo, yeah.
And I was like, to me, it's not really a surprise. It's her character being Amy Farrah Fowler. We've seen her grow.
Yeah.
We have not seen Kaylee's character grow at all.
She's sort of like the straight man.
Yeah, I mean, the show's great. She's great, but her character, it's the thing that I think drove Charlie Sheen crazy is that they won't let that character become something else. Right. They're like, we got to have her. She's still working at the freaking Cheesecake Factory. Still, they're still going with the acting thing, which hasn't worked for her. They won't let her move on.
I just thought that the other day. I was like, when are they going to give her an acting job?
They gave her that one commercial, and I guess we were supposed to be like, yeah, but they're content with her character.
Just struggling along.
Right. And that's why, to me, when people are like, it's a surprise that she didn't, I'm like, it's not. Well, where has she grown? Whereas you've seen Amy Farrah Fowler go from not wanting to be touched to wanting Sheldon to
spank her,
give her the business.
Yeah, and And that episode where she fakes being sick so Sheldon will touch her is like a classic.
Oh my god! So to me, it's not a surprise, but
little slight insight. My wife saw her speak a couple weeks ago in San Francisco at a education conference. Mayim Balak did like a 20-minute talk. She said she was great and she was very attractive. I guess she cleans up nice, whereas her character doesn't really call for that.
No, not really.
And then the girl in Deep, Anna
Chomsky.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you would know more about it.
Again, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is great. Everyone else is just, So that's as far as Veep. You take Julia Louis-Dreyfus away from it, and there's no reason to watch it.
I always think these categories are wide open. I would say that about this one especially.
Yeah. Well, I think Julie Bowen's gonna win. Yeah. I just think if I had to choose someone, I think the Merritt Weaver would get my choice, and if not her, then Mayim Balak. Yeah. Because again, when you talk about Julie Bowen's character hasn't grown at all, but it's Modern Family. Yeah.
They don't need to. They've got all the Modern Family PC stuff already in the show, so they don't need to grow.
But going back to that the thing about Kaylee getting snubbed, there's also a big article about Zooey Deschanel getting snubbed for lead actress. Mm. And as much as I like her, I don't think, again, I feel the same way about her character. I think they did a better job this year of growing the whole cast. Yeah. So, that hurts her. And it's not a knock. It's more so they went to develop the rest of the cast. And I think this show, like you said, it's a really good show. But I think it may have hurt the show from doing that fan-wise because the ratings have dipped. And it almost got canceled in the second season.
I find that shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess...
Because
go ahead.
Well, for me, I was glad that they focused on everyone else and kind of... Because I think it's a really good cast. Yeah. So I like that they tried to grow the other characters and kind of get them all up to speed. And it kind of annoys me that the ratings dipped and almost got canceled because you could tell they kind of forced that whole Nick Jessica thing because they didn't think, I think they got a little nervous towards the end. And
we got to do it now instead of later. It might not be later.
Yeah, because even this season 3 is going to be huge because if it doesn't get better, it's probably going to get canceled. They gave it the Super Bowl follow-up to try to help boost ratings this year. And if that doesn't work, it's probably done, which is sad because it's a good show.
Yeah, it is.
But, I mean, that's as far as, again, as much as, as much as we both like Zooey Deschanel, I kind of think that's why she got snubbed. It's not anything on her part.
No, she's good, but, I don't think it's a travesty either.
Now, there's another snub, which I think is funny to me, is the one guy from Modern Family who almost always gets nominated and didn't, the Eric Stone Street.
Yeah. But does Ed O'Neill does he usually get?
Well, Ed O'Neill, I think he got it this year.
He did.
Which will be our next category.
Yeah, but I don't think he usually does it?
No, it's his first time. I think it's his first time ever.
Did he ever get nominated? No. I think the critics probably hated that show.
They did. They couldn't stand it. So, this is like literally because everyone was shocked he didn't get it last year, and he got it this year, which meant Eric Stone Street didn't get the nomination. Well, and I don't think it's a snub. Because again,
I don't either. I like Eric Stone Street. I think Ed O'Neill's a solid actor and has been for years. He's done well in movies. He was good in Married with Children. He proved he can do stuff beyond that.
But that's a casting thing, just like we talked about earlier. He was the second choice for that character.
In Married with Children?
Yeah. No. For Modern Family.
Modern Family?
Yeah, it was originally supposed to, they wrote it for Craig T. Nelson. And
I can kind of see that.
And he turned it down because he said it wasn't enough money.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Craig T. Nelson was a stand-up at one time.
Was he? See, that's a good nugget, man.
Yeah, he was out there in the Comedy Store and different places. I think he might have done the improv more, but he was like this brief period in the early '80s. He was out there, or maybe the late '70s, but yeah. And I think he got out of it as soon as people started giving him acting gigs. He's like, I'm no longer a comedian.
Yeah, some comedians, the first chance they get, they're like, I'm out.
Yeah, it's almost like acting school to them.
Yeah. Well, it's so brutal. It's such a brutal business because just the thought of an open mic in the 5 minutes of you're just up there, and trying to make people laugh, I think, is one of the hardest things ever. So, if you have some success and you can move on, I totally understand why people do it.
Oh yeah.
Because I think it's extremely stressful.
It says Bill Hader is nominated for Saturday Night Live,
which is crazy.
As various characters. I find that interesting. I mean, I guess maybe that's fair, but I wonder how many other Saturday Night Live people have ever been nominated.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I mean,
and
I like him.
Me too.
I don't watch it much, but
I think he's one of those guys where I sit there and think he's probably hurting himself being on Saturday Night Live right now, which he just left, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
He and the other guy that I can't think of, is it Jason Sudeikis?
Yeah, I think they both.
When I've seen him on Saturday Night Live, I'm like, And then I see him in like movies and stuff. I'm like, these guys are pretty funny. So
yeah.
I actually think Saturday Night Live hurts those guys, which I was glad when I heard they left. Because I'm like, those guys should be doing better things.
It's just hard, like, as a voter, it would be hard for me. I mean, it's not apples to apples for me. Because, Hader's playing, like, 10 different roles for about 45 seconds at a time or something. And it's not like they're going to really evolve very much or,
Well, I don't think anyone stands a chance against Ty Burrell. He's going to walk away with this thing. I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I'd actually root for Ed O'Neill, but I don't expect he'll get it. I think the nomination is his victory.
Yeah, I would be shocked if he got it. Tony Hale he plays the same character and everything. MVP's basically another version of the character he played in Arrested Development. I mean, it's funny, and I like him, but it just seems like the same thing.
He went to, do you know what college?
No, but I know it's somewhere in Virginia, right?
He went to Regent. Pat Robertson's school, which is about as Hollywood as you can think of.
For real. Yeah, I don't think there's much drama here. Now, there's the one that I thought was interesting, the guest actress in a comedy series.
Yeah.
Because that one lady, which is, again, here's where 30 Rock's gonna be in everything. One that plays Alec Baldwin's mom, Elaine Stritch, or whatever her name is. I'm like, And again, Molly Shannon for Enlightened. The show got canceled, so come on. I don't know anything about Glee. And then we got 2 Saturday Night Live hosts, which I think, no way. I mean, come on. And then
they'll probably give it to either Melissa McCarthy or Kristen Wiig.
And that would be a travesty, because anyone who's seen the episode with Melissa Leo on Louis, that one is gold.
Really?
Oh my God. Well, they both get invited to a dinner party by their friends who are looking to set them up, and they figure it out. Not too interested. They blow their friends off and go to a bar and have a drink, and then they're hanging out because she has a truck, and they're hanging out in her truck and having a good time. And she goes down on him, and then when she's done, she's like, "All right, now it's time for you to go down on me," and he's like, "No thanks." And the conversation from that point on, all I gotta say is find that episode, watch it. It is hilarious. It's the way every guy thinks, but he actually just says it, and they argue about it to the point where he eventually has to give in. But it's just something you never see on TV, where a woman is trying to push a guy's head down. And I think that's one of the funniest episodes I've seen. And Louis can get away with it because he's on cable. But I'm saying, you look at that list, there's no way none of those other ones were as funny as that. You got any opinions?
On this category? I mean, I haven't seen any of these, so I'm going to take your word for... Now I just want to watch that episode.
Oh my God, it's one of the funniest. That's just that situation alone. I was dying laughing.
Let's see. So Louis C.K. is also nominated as guest actor in a comedy series for Saturday Night Live. He could really end up racking up.
Yeah. And here's one where everyone has told me how great Justin Timberlake is on Saturday Night Live, and I don't see it.
And people gosh, it's kind of sickening. Like, if you're on Twitter when he's hosting, or the day after you check Twitter, it's like Justin Timberlake is the greatest person ever to do anything. It's over and over, all kinds of people just gushing over him.
It's like they write articles, like every article, the day after or the Monday after is Justin Timberlake did it again on Saturday Night Live, and I'm like, it's not
Yeah,
even funny.
I don't know. I mean, he's good. I think he's.
No, I'm not knocking him. I just the way they go crazy for him on Saturday Night Live, I just don't see it. I mean, I gotta be honest with you. As much as I like Louis, I wasn't blown away by Louis on Saturday Night Live.
I kind of feel like they're gonna give it to Timberlake. What do you think?
I have no idea. It could go to what's his name for doing Modern Family because it's Modern Family, but I have no idea. Seriously, looking at that category, I couldn't tell you. It's a toss up to me.
Any other categories you want to go over?
I know. I think that's all for comedy, though. You know, I could care less about drama.
Man, you gotta start watching Breaking Bad. Get Netflix. Give it one episode. You can do the free trial. It's like you get your first 30 days free.
Do you know a show that I've always liked it, but with each season and each episode, I'm like, damn it, I love this show. Wilford, you're going silent again. Crap, you're killing this show. You're killing us. Well, since Matt's gone silent, we'll go ahead and call that a night. Thanks, bottom feeders. Until next time, Jermaine and Matt out.